Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. No, I am not dead and neither is this channel yet. I apologize for the lack of videos in the last 8 or 9 months. I've actually been very busy with a lot of personal stuff. I actually just recently moved from the Midwest to now the West Coast and I'm loving it here. And so now I can actually start making videos and I want to start right back where we kind of left off. In one of my earlier videos, we talked about all the different platforms of buying retro games. And so there's things like eBay, Amazon, Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, and whatnot. Looking back at the video, because it has been almost a year, I still would agree with all my points. Personally, my favorite is eBay, but obviously you guys can certainly pick what your favorites are. And so if you haven't checked out that video, that's the only video in my playlist that I recommend watching it. So be sure to take a look at that if you have time. But now I want to talk about, now that we've discussed where to buy retro games, let's talk about what I think are 5 great tips on how to acquire retro games at a really good deal, okay? So starting with number 5, create and maintain a wish list, okay? A wish list is exactly what it sounds like. It's literally a list of games that you think would be cool to have in your collection. And it doesn't have to be fancy. It can just be the title of the game. And then I recommend doing some research and finding out what the going price for that game is, and then putting that next to the title. And then furthermore, what you can do is then you can put a price next to that on what might be your goal as to what to acquire it at. You know, for example, if you have a game XYZ that's worth about $50, maybe your goal is to get it for $35 or less. And so that would be an excellent thing to put in the wish list. I think this is a great tool because it definitely keeps you hungry to collect more and more, and it just increases your motivation as a collector. And I don't know, when I started collecting, I ran into so many games that I never knew existed that are just absolute gems in my personal opinion. So I think it's a really cool idea because it's really going to open you up to new games that you might like that you just never heard of. And so that's one tip I suggest. And really the ultimate reason behind it is that when you're familiar with the game enough, because it's on a list and you see it very often, you're gonna be able to react much quicker when you do see that game pop up online at a price that's good, as opposed to, oh shoot, how much was that game supposed to be going for? Is this a good price or whatnot? With this kind of list, you can know right away, oh, that's a good game at the right price, let's buy it before someone else does. So create and maintain a wish list. All right, number 4 is, if you're like me and you like to buy complete games, sometimes it's best to buy incomplete games and then kind of match them together to get a nice superset of complete games. So I recommend for number 4, be on the lookout and be open-minded to buying incomplete games if you see them at a good deal. Because you never know, you might see one that has just the case and game, and then next thing you know, you might see another listing with the manual, and so you can kind of marry them together and you have a nice complete copy. One of the most notable games I completed was actually Chrono Trigger for SNES. I remember I got 2 copies of it, 2 box copies, but they were incomplete with the inserts, manuals, and whatnot. But it was like a match made in heaven because they together they just made this nice complete set for me. So so that's one tip, is to just be on the lookout for incomplete sets because you never know, it could be very useful. I've seen another influencer talk about this, and I do want to talk about one thing about it, is that if you do see an incomplete set on a game, I recommend that you become more conservative about how much you want to spend for it. Because this has happened to me quite a bit where I'm looking for this special game, ABC, and I finally see something of that game. Maybe it's just the disc only or the disc and manual. And I'm like, oh, that's good, I'm gonna buy it. And then a couple days later down the road, I end up seeing the same game complete. So it's like I buy that, now I have this other incomplete set doing nothing. So I recommend that if you do buy an incomplete set, you maybe lower the amount of cost that you're willing to pay just a bit, because that way, if you ever, like me, you get a complete set eventually, you can at least sell the incomplete set and get back your money, or even make some money. All right, so that's it for number 4. Number 3 is I recommend using multiple platforms, okay? Going back to my earlier video, as I talked about in this video earlier, there are many good platforms to buy retro games. They all kind of have their advantages and disadvantages. So it's a really good idea to use multiple to kind of complement each other. And so I recommend being open to shopping with multiple platforms. It just gives you a greater chance to find great deals. So that's my number 3. This is how you should be searching and sorting your search lists when you're searching for games. You're gonna always usually, I always do, but I think you should always sort from newest to oldest, okay? And this is because the better the deal a game is, the quicker it's gonna get bought, okay? That's just kind of the law of buying and selling, okay? The better the deal, the faster it's gonna get bought, and so the sooner it's gonna be off the website. And so if you're searching and you search from newest to oldest, it gives you kind of a chance to actually find that deal before it's scooped up by someone else, okay? And when it comes to certain games, personally, I've found it that Pokemon games, for whatever reason, man, as soon as you think you found a good deal, man, someone buys it already. Like I've clicked on listings on eBay. I'm like, oh, that's a good deal. I click on it and it says, oh, this listing's already gone. And I'm like, wow, I just refreshed too, and it's crazy. So keep that in mind. Always sort from newest to oldest, in my opinion. You don't have to if you're looking for something very, very specific that you kind of need right away. That's more time sensitive. So that's number 2. And then finally, my biggest tip to you guys on buying great deals. This comes back from high school and college days. I think we all had that teacher that used to say, you know, don't cram the night before a test. Don't study 5 hours straight the day or night before a test, because it's just going to be stressful. And so what they would always encourage is, you know, study an hour a day for 5 days, or for example, okay? So this number 1 tip of mine is search often but quickly, okay? So if you have about an hour's time that you want to dedicate to searching for games, you're going to be much more successful if you break that up throughout the day in quicker intervals. So say instead of an hour at once on a lunch break, you search 4 times a day for 15 minutes, okay? And this goes back again to the laws of buying and selling, that the better the deal, the quicker it's going to get bought. So if you at least search often throughout the day, you open yourself up to better chances of getting those deals, okay? So search often but quickly, okay? Trust me, you don't really want to be searching for a long time. I feel like it kind of burns you out whenever you're just sitting there on eBay for like an hour or 2 hours or whatnot. So for me, it's always a nice thing to do, because it kind of helps me kind of, okay, I'm done with my searches, let's do something else. Okay, so that's it for me on my tips on how to acquire retro games at a really good deal. Thank you again for my few subscribers that have watched my other videos and that may be watching this video. And before I end this video, I do want to announce that I'm going to be streaming on Twitch, and if everything goes right, I should be streaming by next weekend. I'm still waiting on a couple of peripheral devices. It's actually not the most straightforward thing to stream old consoles as opposed to like a PS4 or PS5. So I kind of have to wait for some things to come in the mail, but I should be set up by hopefully next weekend. I think this would be a fun opportunity, because honestly, the worst thing about collecting is that you just don't have time to ever actually play the game. So I'm kind of trying to force myself to like move my mindset from collecting to playing and enjoying these games that I have. So I hope that you join me on Twitch. That's twitch.tv/morningcraft with 2 T's because some other idiot took morningcraft already. So join me on there if you want to watch me play some gems or probably some bad games as well. I kind of want to play the games that are super expensive and rare just to see, like, is the price worth the hype, you know? So I hope that I play some unique games for you guys to watch and enjoy. So thanks again. Hopefully I'll see you in the next video, or I see you on Twitch. Take care, everybody.